Parshat Bereshit, on new beginnings. We've finally done it. We've made it through the fall holidays of Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, and Simchat Torah. And though the new Jewish year began weeks ago, we're now given yet another chance to begin again with the start of the new cycle of the Torah readings, with Parshat Bereshit, which consists of the first several chapters of the book of Genesis. New beginnings are a true gift in life. Rabbi Nachman taught, all beginnings require that you unlock new doors. We start this year with a clean moral slate, having engaged in teshuvah and acts of forgiveness. So too, we can begin anew intellectually and spiritually with a fresh start of Torah readings. As we emerge out of this long period of renewal, I'm struck by how one of the first things the Torah mentions is, rather than an annual period of resetting, a weekly one, Shabbat. The heaven and the earth were finished and all their array, it says at the beginning of Genesis chapter 2. On the seventh day, God finished the work that had been undertaken. God ceased on the seventh day from doing any of the work. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, having ceased on it from all the work of creation that God had done. By taking a step back one day a week, however we're able to do it, we will naturally ask ourselves how we can improve our own character, how we can nurture our most cherished relationships, and how we can be more impactful members of our communities. This first Parsha, by introducing Shabbat, gives us not only a new beginning, but continuous new beginnings. In whatever way we embrace Shabbat, it should involve physical and spiritual rest and serve as a new beginning where we ask ourselves the essential questions in our lives. Everything is not the same. Some people like to say history repeats itself, but the Jewish wisdom I embrace is that everything is new, even when attached to the old. New beginnings are profoundly new. Everything around us is constantly changing, our bodies, the earth. We need to pause to realign and reattune ourselves to those evolutions. In addition to God's divine renewal and our personal renewal, we can build our empathy for those we care about, seeing that they too are changing and embracing new beginnings. By taking time to breathe, we can see one another anew. We can truly see others for who they are and who they're becoming. Every parent of a student can see from semester to semester how their child is changing and growing. Others can see change in their spouses. Rabbis can see it in their congregants. Congregants can see it in the rabbis. We're all making transformations, and it's important that we recognize those changes in others. Through Shabbat, we can cultivate humility in how we see others. In my opinion, the gift of Shabbat is a wonder because it's not deducible from the natural world. The cycle of the year with its seasons and of the lunar months with the moon are observable astronomically. But there's nothing in nature that says there must be a 7-day week. And so we're given this treasure of weekly renewal. Neshama Yetera is translated as additional soul. This is derived from the phrase Shabbat vayinafash, which could be understood as Shabbat and the renewal of the soul. This spiritual rejuvenation is deemed so crucial for the healing of the self, the family, the community, and the world, that the sages taught that keeping Shabbat is equal to keeping all of the mitzvot. This is central to the creation of the world and to the essence of the Jewish people, as one Midrash teaches. Shabbat said, "Master of the universe, everyone has a partner except for me. The 6 days of creation pair off. Only I have no partner." God replied, "The people of Israel are your partner." When Israel stood before Sinai, God said to them, "Remember what I told Shabbat. The people of Israel are your partner. This is the meaning of the commandment. Commemorate the day of Shabbat to sanctify it." Rabbi Eliezer Melamed teaches that it's important to come up with new Torah ideas, Chidushei Torah, on Shabbat, and brings a Zohar teaching that the additional soul ascends to heaven after Shabbat, and God asks us about the insights thought of on Shabbat with the assistance of these additional souls. We want to build a more just world where everyone can have access to Shabbat, even further that every day can in a utopian dream be like a Shabbat? Rabbi Jonah Pesner, a leading activist within the Reform movement, writes, some examples from rabbinic literature include a Talmudic reference to a time when Yom Shekulo Shabbat, every day is Shabbat, from Mishnah Talmud 7:4. Another reference states, Israel said before the Holy One of Blessing, Master of the world, if we observe the commandments, what reward will we have? God said to them, the world to come. They said to God, show us its likeness. God showed them the Shabbat. That's from Otiot to Rabbi Akiva. Finally, the classical commentator Nachmanides comments on Genesis 2:3, saying, the seventh day is an indication of the world to come. That is all Shabbat. We don't need to wait an entire year to change again. Every week, Shabbat can be our Elul, our time of reflection and repentance. And Havdalah, Saturday night, the new week, can be our miniature version of the high holidays. What does Shabbat have to do with repentance? The mystic Rabbi Nachman of Breslov asked our 200 years ago. The answer he found was based on a Midrash that Cain repented on Shabbat, and he thus suggests when a person repents completely and repels evil entirely, and so has calm, this is the aspect of Shabbat. Our Shabbat is a place of healing and resolution from our growth and repair each week. New beginnings are not just for a new home, a new job, starting college. They're built into the soul. We learn from Parshat to Bereshit that even God wanted a new beginning. God could have saved this concept for the 10 Commandments, but instead, God didn't just tell us to keep Shabbat. God engaged in Shabbat and was the first one to do so. We then are called to emulate God in being creative agents of renewal. Let me fall, and my new self will catch me, the Baal Shem Tov taught. We need courage to shed our old skin, to let briefly go before finding the courage to again take on the challenges of life. The way to do this, we learn in our Parsha, is through Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.